These two patient profiles are carbon copies of one another. They present with the same disease, identical laboratory results, and the exact same biological markers in their blood work. When we feed this data into a modern diagnostic algorithm to calculate a path forward, the machine does exactly what it was designed to do. It identifies a high probability success rate and recommends the same aggressive protocol for both individuals. From a purely statistical standpoint, the logic is flawless. But a veteran doctor, after speaking with both patients, chooses to diverge. They approve the aggressive treatment for the first patient, but decide to delay the intervention for the second. Patient A begins the intensive therapy immediately. Patient B is sent home with a much milder regimen, focused on stabilization and a follow-up appointment in 2 weeks. If the biological data is identical, why would a clinician choose to ignore the proven science for one of them? Because we are moving into an era where it is easy to mistake raw intelligence, the processing of data, for the actual understanding of a person's life. Algorithms search for similarities across millions of data points, sorting complex symptoms into standardized categories. To make this work, the system leaves behind unmeasurable variables, a patient's lack of support at home, or deep-seated anxiety about side effects. The machine solves biological mechanics with total precision, but it cannot see the human context that the disease exists within. Because the algorithm isolates pathology from the person, medically accurate calculations can lead to interventions the patient is emotionally unable to sustain. The philosopher Hans-Georg Gadamer described what the doctor is doing here as practical judgment. It is a form of intelligence that focuses on the appropriate rather than just the calculable. Practical judgment isn't just about spotting a disease. It's the ability to know what a specific human moment requires, the difference between what is scientifically possible and what is actually right for this person. Sometimes this judgment shows up as a decision to withhold a difficult truth until a patient has the strength to process it. Or it might be the realization that a patient's family situation is causing more physical stress than the illness itself. While algorithms identify how patients are the same, human judgment identifies the specific differences that determine whether a treatment will actually heal. An AI updates its model in seconds. A doctor's intuition is built over decades of trial, error, and observation. This data is composed of lived experience, witnessing the limits of medicine, seeing unexpected recoveries, and watching how different people react to a diagnosis. This history allows a doctor to read cues that don't show up on a monitor, like recognizing the specific silence of a patient who says they are fine but is actually on the verge of giving up. Clinical intelligence is forged by time and presence. It is a historical understanding that data alone cannot replicate. We have to consider what happens if we let the accuracy of the algorithm replace the judgment of the clinician entirely. Without the human element, medicine functions as a system of technical optimization. It treats the body as a machine to be tuned, and the patient's experience as noise that needs to be filtered out. When we prioritize data processing over human understanding, the treatment of disease becomes a series of interventions that lack any connection to the person being treated. An intelligent system that cannot account for human suffering is a system that has lost its ability to actually heal. The goal is not to choose between technology and the doctor. In a proper hierarchy, the algorithm handles the massive baseline of biological calculation, providing the evidence the doctor needs. The algorithm suggests how to treat, but human intuition decides whether to treat, when to start, and who the person is. Healing requires an intelligence that can analyze a cell with the precision of a computer, but has the wisdom to look up from the data and see the human being.